Shalom, Rastafari, Assalamu alaikum, and peace to the kings and the queens of the earth. How's everybody doing today on this Friday, Sabbath flow? I just want to give a big shout out to everybody who's been listening. I appreciate y'all from the 1 to the 20 to the 30, whatever the fuck. I really appreciate y'all giving me the motivation. Also have to give a big happy Earth Strong to my cousin Alicia. She turns 39 today. I am very proud of you. Hope to see you soon. And the rest of the fucking family. I miss all y'all. Today, I also got recommendations from some good people that are in my corner. I asked, like, hey, what should I talk about? I'm always asking what I want to talk about or what I should talk about. And I got a pretty good recommendation, just basically keeping it somewhat light on Fridays, right? I like to keep it somewhat light. I'm always militant with my subjects and trying to add either positivity or knowledge to someone, get some kind of mental food somehow, some way. That's what I like to pride myself on is doing with this little small podcast or whatever. But I'm going to continue to talk about some stuff. But I also want to give, you can give happiness, you can give laughter, you can give intrigue, you can give that to certain people, and they will definitely appreciate it. So today is story time, and it's a very funny story. It's not for the. It's not gonna get too graphic. It's definitely an adult story, and let's get into it. 2005, Minnesota Vikings boat controversy. If anybody Googles that, Minnesota Vikings 2005 boat controversy, look it up, and you will have a big laugh. And unfortunately or unfortunately, I was actually there for this entire situation, and for this team. This team was a very, it was kind of a different type of team. It was 2005. We're winning some games, but ultimately there's a culture there that just probably was, not really checked. It wasn't really kind of a disciplined locker room, right? So this is 2005. So this is my second year in the league. I'm injured. I'm on injured reserve, but I'm still at the team, whatever. And I'm there every day, and we're getting it popping. And literally, again, we have a rookie party every year. Now, this is the same thing that has happened multiple times in the league, whereas either the rookie will come, pay dinner for probably like everybody in his position, maybe even the whole offensive side or defensive side or special teams even or whatever, or they have some kind of party or, basically some kind of, not hazing, but just some kind of initiation to bring you into the league. So 2005, there was always a rookie party that the rookies had to come forth and pay. And they put it together and yeah. So last year I wasn't there for the 2004 rookie party. But 2005, I was there. And they basically had the coordinates of, they got two, is it two or three? I think they have two. They had two yachts, two huge boats rented. Now this is Lake Minnetonka, right? This is Lake Minnetonka, and it is funny because it is around October, right? So it's freezing. It's pretty cold on that water, but it hasn't frozen yet. This is during our bye week, and they rented two just big. They were not like yachts. They were kind of like those beach or those lake cruisers, right? You've seen those things. They're kind of like not yachts, but like ferries almost, right? But they were they didn't have the wheel or anything. They were just pretty big boats, whatever. And of course, we get the strippers. It's almost like a bachelor party, right? There's strippers that were from Miami and imported, and and we're all sitting around, and I didn't know what to expect, right? I've heard stories. I didn't know what to expect. So we're in there. I'm not going to get too graphic with it because it's nothing that really, I guess I've seen a lot, right? I've seen a lot of stuff, been to strip clubs, been to this, I was over in Germany and seen some funny stuff, but this wasn't really anything that was, I bounced at a club too, right, for many years. So what was going on this, my boat, because there was two of them. I didn't go in the second one. There was two of them. So the one, yeah, exactly. I don't know what was going on in the second one, but the one I had mostly most of the players on there. And again, the strippers come out, and then again, it's like a simple bachelor party. They're doing their stripper thing. They're doing tricks with whatever. They're putting stuff places. Like, yeah, I'm trying to keep it classy here. But whoever's listening is probably gonna get a nice laugh. So they're doing all this stuff, right? And you're like, what's the basis of this story? I'll get to it in a minute. So they're just doing all this stuff, and I'm not gonna get too graphic. Like, some of my boys know exactly what went on. Like, there was a second floor too. There was a specific contest that was going on. Let's just say there was still some safety that was used. We'll put it that way. There was still some protection being used. Thank God, because it could have got, I don't know how sanitary the situation was. So you're seeing a lot, right? I saw a lot. And it was funny because on the second floor it was kind of cold up there, right? So it's like certain people couldn't, you know what I mean, perform, so to speak. I'm sorry. This is a crazy story. I can't believe I'm telling this. So, long story short, the night, I was, many of us were just observers because there wasn't, obviously I'm not big on the public performance type of thing, nor was there's 8 girls and 50 dudes. I'm not into waiting my turn or whatever. I don't even care at that point. So again, we get off the boat. It's at night. Everything seems to be cool. We're going back to the hotel, and no big issue. I don't even remember anything, right? So then about 2 or 3 days later, all of a sudden, this entire party is talked about on the news. It was insane. It was like they were, because at the time I think we were 3 and 4. And so it was almost like they were looking for some sort of controversy to really mess us up. And just imagine how these things are. So basically, how it even got spread, and this is why you don't, nowadays, I know players who are not fucking around. It's non-disclosure agreements, NDAs across the board. You come in my house, I don't know you, sign this NDA and leave your cell phone over there. So basically stating that non-disclosure, whatever happens here, you are not allowed to tell anybody. And if you are, if you do, you will get sued. So nobody was doing that, right? So I'm like, why? How did this get in the news? Why are they talking about it? And they're just telling these, and obviously they're over-exaggerating. These people are on a Lake Minnetonka with strippers and wild sex party. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And they're putting people's faces out. So, you got some people who might be married or da-da-da. And I'm like, why is this going on? Well, I'll tell you. So there was a bar on the boat, right? There was clearly bars there. And there were people who were there, and they looked of age. They looked fine. Like they didn't look like they were in trouble. They just served the drinks. They were actually pretty cool. And I think they're around like 19 or whatever, but they were, they weren't like females that were looking, they dressed conservative, whatever. It was a mistake for anybody who knew this situation was going on. It was a total mistake for them to try to get some third party boat service to allow them to do this. And knowing that they're Minnesota Viking players, you should have just got somebody's house, or again, non-disclosure agreements. There's so much more you could have done. Well, one of the ladies who was, I guess, 19 or 20 years old was there. She ends up telling her little brother what she saw. Her little brother's I think 10 or 11 years old, maybe 12. She just told him, right? Her little brother then goes to confessional, okay? Goes to confessional and tells his priest about what his sister told him that she saw. So then the priest goes to the media. Do you understand? This is some extensive snitching. And this is definitely a witch hunt. First of all, hello, I'm supposed to go to confessional and tell you the wildest shit. And unless I tell you, yeah, I just killed my wife last night, you shouldn't be telling anybody not a damn thing. Like, first of all, fuck you to that priest. Like, you know what I mean? I know you done heard a lot more wilder shit than, hey, there was some wild sex party on the water with that the Vikings were in, and they were doing stuff. Like, please, like you chose that to go to the news and spread spread it around anyway. So once it became a witch hunt, now you got, I remember all of a sudden a construction worker who was working at Brian McKinney's townhouse started digging through the trash, like dig through his trash and went through it and found receipts of him flying the girls out, right? And so they were trying to create a federal prostitution type of charge at first, right? Like basically because you cross straight lines, and if anybody, and it's like it's not illegal to import a person who's a stripper. And basically they were saying if they got paid for like any other services beside that, there could be some serious issues. But this was all over the news. It was a huge controversy for a good week. It was really crazy. No, NFL didn't suspend anybody or what, but the police tried to get involved, and they tried to place charges on people that eventually fell over. I remember Brian McKinney, Mo Williams, Fred Smoot, all these guys got charged. And at the end of the day, by the end of the case, one of them got charged. And here's the thing. This is why media back then, it was a witch hunt, and they definitely didn't come back and say, oops, sorry, this was just a bunch of bullshit. At the end of all this, Mo Williams got charged with, he admitted to touching a stripper's butt on water, which apparently is a federal offense. I'm not lying. I am so serious. He came out to court laughing. It is a $50 fine. That's what they get for all this. All this. They were charging Brian McKinney with they were trying to charge him with stuff. That fell through, obviously. They're trying to charge anybody who was in high caliber with any kind of like weird, because they had to justify why they're even coming out with us. And this is how the thing I didn't hate. You can also have a racial undertone, because people don't get it. If I've talked to like people in the industry, and they say that some of their best clients are these tech people. And these tech people will have the parties, and it's way worse than what we were dealing with. There's cocaine, there's just, wild shit happening all over the place. Not like it was like this. We didn't have that shit. So for them, they really tried to like pin something on us, and the biggest charge was that apparently on federal, because it was on water, federally, the stripping situation it was just such a witch hunt, and it was ended up being a $50 fine, and Lord knows how much money they probably tried to spend charging him with anything, and his lawyers and everything like that you just wasted state taxpayers' money. But I was on that boat. I was never questioned because I was an IR, right? I was just, wasn't the top 10, 20 player, whatever. I was on injury reserve. But being on that boat really, I don't know what it did for me. I guess I could tell the story in a truthful manner and say that, one, it was really bullshit that they tried to come at us because of the fact that there is 6,000 bachelorette parties from other corporate people who do the most wildest shit and no one says anything about it. But because some person told her brother told a priest in confessional. And then he went and told the media, like, it was like, get the fuck out of here. For nothing, too. We ended up almost making the playoffs that year, coming back. But it was like, it was all for nothing. At the end of all of it, I remember there was an article, it was like, you just wasted, you literally just, he got charged $50. It was the same as if like you got caught like urinating in the park or something like that. But out of all that controversy, and out of all that, it was on ESPN, oh my God, this boat party, what was going on? And then when the truth happened, nothing happened. It was pretty much like a wild ass bachelor party. You know what I'm saying? Most women have way more shit going on in their bachelorette parties. I've seen it myself. Like bouncing at a club, you'll see some wild shit happening. Like, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I always go back to that story. I was there. It was wild. But it wasn't as wild. I saw way more stuff after that in my life. And for that to be they try to really I don't know what they were trying to do in the media, but they really tried, and it looked stupid at the end of it. It was really dumb, for people to even they're trying to critique. Oh, there's kids out there on the beach. I'm like, it's October, and it was at 10:30 at night. There was not one single person out there. It was freezing. Water was like ice cold. I don't even know how we were out there. It was calm, you know. But yeah, I mean, fast forward to now, cell phones and all that shit, and who knows what would have happened, right? They would have, somebody might have filmed the whole thing, right? And we would have gotten more, who knows? But it was a lesson learned to always watch everything. And it was tough because I remember calling my agent and calling my people while I'm on the phone and being like, this is crazy. I remember calling my agent like late at night and be like, yo, I don't know, this is crazy. And he's like, just enjoy it, be careful, let me know. And then I called my boy Draper too. He was just like, yo, I'm watching. I was telling him what I'm watching, and I'm not going to tell him when I was watching. I'm like, yo, I'm watching this shit right now. He's just like, yo, this is crazy. So it was, in the moment you're like, I can't believe I'm playing football and seeing this shit. But at the same time, I would have left if it was on, in the house. I would have left. I would have left way earlier. I'm not really big on. I'm not a big strip club guy. Not a big, whatever. If I ever, let's say, want to get married and they kind of want to do the traditional, I'm not with that. I don't like to get teased. Like, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Shaking your butt in front of, like, I'm not a teaser. Unless there's something that's going to happen after that, don't do that to me. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't give a fuck about that. So, it's just one of those things where it happened, controversy, whatever, but it was nothing. It literally was nothing. It was a witch hunt from the media. And also, again, like, yeah, I wanted to get out of there too, just because of me, right? It was like, okay, way more dudes, a couple girls all staring. That's nice. I'm going home. I could just watch this on my computer for real, because I ain't anybody fucking touching nothing. And nor am I big on crowds, right? So that's the story. Story time Fridays. I got a lot of stories, and I try to keep it light. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't got too many funny stories in my life. So some of these stories are going to be kind of, I've already talked about my bat to the face situation, talked about this. There's a bunch of other stuff I can talk about, but I got to be careful also. I'm not big on dry snitching or trying to bring up things that could be used against me. So I love y'all. Happy Friday. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the weekend. I know in Canada it is a long weekend. Be safe. If you're coming up, be safe. My boys out in Buffalo, be safe. Tynega, be safe. The whole world, be safe. I love y'all. Happy birthday, Alicia. My cousin. I love y'all.